Good evening, everyone. My name is Beth, and I am here with another awesome take and make craft opportunity for you. Our makerspace librarian, Jenny, has gotten a super cool kit together for us on this Monday evening. I love having crafty stuff to do on Mondays, and I love looking forward to doing it a couple times a month. So this time around, we're going to make clay earrings. Admittedly, I was a little intimidated by this. I thought, yeah, that's not gonna work. But actually, it was really kind of fun. And when I got out of my head about wanting it to look a certain way or be just like this, and I just let myself create, it went a lot smoother. And I feel like that's how most things are, whether it's actual art piece that you're doing or a crafty little fun thing. We often have this picture in our head of what it should look like. Mine never does, but I'm usually pretty happy with the end result anyway. So first thing I'm gonna do is unpack all my goodies. I'm gonna tilt this down so we can see our workspace. Okay, so my goodies. I have a sheet of parchment paper here. You can tell I've been working on it a little bit, so I'm gonna fold that over so I don't get any of that clay mixed in with my other stuff. The clay is really easy to work with, but you do have to be careful that as you're rubbing the clay or kneading it with your hands, and then you go to put it on the parchment paper and grab another color, if you're doing multiple colors, that you wipe your hands off with some baby wipes, or if you have a damp cloth or a dish towel or something you can use. Also helpful to grab from your cabinet would be a piece of foil, and I am going to take this opportunity to turn my toaster oven on. It's a little bit loud. Maybe I won't turn it on. Maybe we'll fake like I'm turning it on. And I will tell you that I set it for 275 and I turned it on. I quickly turned it off, but you're gonna wanna turn yours on or your oven. You're gonna have a little baggie full of earring backs and jump rings and that wonderful glue. So we're gonna set that aside. I have a couple of colors of clay. I'm not sure what Jenny gave you. Remember, before I do the project, I have to do the project so I know how to make it, so I can do a video to show you how to make it. So she gave me 3 to play around with. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but I'm actually gonna work with the black and brown together. I'm feeling fall-y. These nice toothpicks, which are really great because they have the little sharp end on one end. There we go. And then the bigger end, which is what I used for my stuff. So I'm gonna set those aside. And then we have these two almost like little cookie cutter shapes. They're circles in graduating sizes, so they should not match. And then these nice little cards, and these we'll use kind of like a spatula to scrape up our clay off of our parchment paper little mat here. So I am going to get my black clay out. And I'm gonna use an X-Acto knife. You could use a kitchen knife, but it's really not a great idea to use a kitchen knife unless you can vow that you will super duper clean it. This is not food safe. So anything that could risk cross-contamination is not a good idea, which is why I'll tell you when we roll it out, I'm gonna use this glass. Jenny suggested I use a glass because a rolling pin, again, you're gonna use that on other food, and depending on what kind you have, you know, something could be absorbed into it or maybe stuck on it, and our best intentions to clean don't always work out. So anyway, not food safe, so be careful what you use. I'm sure that they have tools for this. I know somewhere at home, from doing fondant for birthday cakes and stuff, I have a ton of little mini tools like to roll the fondant out with. I could use one of those because I don't do that anymore. And I don't like fondant, so there's that. So I sliced off just a chunk because I'm not 100% sure how much I'm gonna need. And then I'm gonna slice that in half. I wonder if I got a bit ambitious. And I'm just gonna pop it back in here. the beauty of it is it doesn't go bad as long as it doesn't really dry out much. And it doesn't necessarily dry out and harden, it would just be harder to work with. And then I'm gonna do a nice little slice of my brown. Get my baby wipe ready because I'm gonna have to wipe off my hands in between my colors. Try to just grab one. Baby wipes for me are always a thing, like I try to take one and I take 10. All right, so literally gonna fold it in half and squeeze down. I don't wanna get any air in there, so I don't want air bubbles because it'll show up, especially when you're trying to roll it out or when you're baking, you don't want an air bubble. So I'm gonna squish it around with my fingers. That's the official word, squishing. And then I'm gonna roll it up like so. And I'm gonna do the same with my brown. Now my thought is, these are perfect colors. We could do like a leopard print, right? Only remember what I said before about art and things not always looking exactly the way you picture it in your head. So I'm gonna be kind to myself here. And I think what I'm gonna do, and yeah, I'm totally making this up as I go along, is I'm just gonna roll this out, kind of like a little baby pie crust. And you want it to be pretty thin. The thinner it is, the more evenly it bakes, the quicker it'll bake for you. Not bad. I actually did need that extra chunk though, because I'm making 2 earrings, right? So I have to have enough for 2. So let's start over. Squish it all together, folding it over, making sure I don't feel any air pockets. I think that I would see the bubbles. Oh, I heard that pop, did you? Okay, let's roll it out again. Maybe. My roller's not working. Okay, there we go. And now let's try again. That's better. I don't think I'm gonna get all 4 pieces out because these are gonna be a little earring that dangles. Of course, you don't have to do that. You could do just a base piece. And I'm just sitting here and eyeballing it because you know how exacting I am with all my measurements. And I'm just gonna ball up some little ones and set them on here. And I don't want them to be like necessarily perfectly round, although some of them can be, because I'm trying to do that leopard print thing, right? We're just gonna see how this goes. You guys with me? I mean, why not, right? You never know. We might find some grand new technique no one's ever discovered. Okay, maybe I won't, but you guys could do it. I have faith in you. All right, a couple more. And again, I'm not gonna try and do polka dots because those are not gonna turn out. I tried. I'll show you before we're all done here today, but it didn't really do what I thought it would do. Okay, that's kind of a big one. All right, let's see what this does. So I'm gonna roll it again. And I did the thing I told you to, didn't do the thing I told you to do, which was wipe your hands after each color. And maybe I got lucky because they were darker colors. Yeah, it's not gonna look like leopard print by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm gonna find a way to be okay with that. So now I'm gonna get my little cookie cutters. I'm gonna wipe those off to make sure I got all my stuff off. Push it down. And then using just your little bit of fingernails. Do you have better fingernails than I do? Mine are atrocious, they're so short and thin. So I've just popped it on like that. And then I'm going to lay it down on a flat surface so I can pop it back out. So now I have my two smaller holes, and I might just have enough, maybe, if I'm really good about my spacing here. If I snug it up close to the edge, this is what you call dumb luck, you guys. I just lucked into actually making it big enough because I kind of eyeballed it here and started to doubt that it would fit. But look at that. It's going to fit. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little plastic piece here and I want to slide it right under. And then I'm going to try to just peel off without pushing. I don't really want to push on those. I don't want to change the shape. I just want to gently remove them from the rest of the clay. Oh, that guy fell out. That was none too gentle. And I'm going to peel this one off. Now see, this did not cut fantastically, and that's okay because I'm gonna lay this right over the top of it again, press down. Now that I have all that extra clay off there, I think, oh, it doesn't want to pop out. Oh. There, do you see that edge? I can get that off now. And I'm actually gonna take that same X-Acto knife that I used before and just trim it down. Now I don't technically have to do that at this point. I could just, where these ends are a little rough, I can just pat them down all the way around. Cute. I'm gonna do that on all four. I don't know if you can see just a little tiny bit. So my upper piece and my lower piece. The little ones popped out really nice. There's hardly any rough edge. And what you could do, did I already say this? You don't have to do this at this point. You can bake them right now. And then you'd be all set. Once they hardened up in the oven, you would just sand them down. It's not gonna do it. Okay, so I am going to take my toothpick, and because I know that the jump rings are a little bit thicker, they're not super thin, I'm gonna go very close to the edge, right about, let me see if I can mark it first with the sharp end. Right about there, and I'm gonna poke a hole in it. So I'm gonna turn my toothpick upside down to that thicker part, pop the hole through, and I'm gonna lift it up a little bit. I wanna make sure it's a nice clean hole all the way through. Pat any of that stuff back down, and there you go. So you'll just repeat this. And again, close to the edge, because we're gonna want those jump rings to go through. And if they're too far back, they won't fit through. I know this from experience. All right, here we go. 3 down, 1 to go. Okay, now I'm going to take my pan. Gonna get rid of this extra clay for a second. Move these guys out of the way. At home, I would grab another sheet of parchment paper to set them on because, hello, look at this pan. It's been well used, hasn't it? And then I'm gonna lay these back down and put my little clay pieces on here. This one curled a little bit, so I'm gonna lay it down. And from the back side, push it flat. See, my thumb on it really got it. And then I'm going to tent some foil. I would probably do it like so. I want to deflect the heat a little bit so parts of it doesn't get like crunchy or crispy looking, or even start to brown if I should forget. And then I'm gonna pop them in my toaster oven or my big oven and let it go. When they're all done, the pieces will come out. See the little holes? Yes. And the little holes, and you can, they hardened right up. So while they don't necessarily dry out, if you leave them out, they're not gonna dry out and get hard like this, but they will eventually crack and be less easy to work with. So from here, I'm going to get all my clay and other stuff together. It's the clay from the first time around. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna take 2 sets of little needle nose pliers. These are actually bent, and these are a flat plier. It doesn't matter what kind you use. You literally can use whatever you have at home. I just have these. For a while, I thought I could be a great jewelry maker. I can't. I didn't send that memo to Jenny, but hey, she believed in me. So this is gonna be a lesson in, remember when I told you sometimes you think it should look like this and it doesn't quite work out? Right, these were my polka dot earrings. They did not work out. They're kind of polka dot, but kind of not, just kind of smeary blobs. But you know what, I still like the color scheme. And another thing I didn't do fabulously on my dry run is look how far from the edge that hole is. It really should be close to the edge without piercing through it, because it would make my jump ring go through so much easier when I try and attach my second piece. I feel like I'm really too far out to do that, and I'll show you why. Because when I drop it, because there's really not a lot of room for this guy to move around, right? And how do I get another earring through that and all the way through? It's more than halfway through on this one. It's just not gonna work. So then I thought, how can I make it work? Well, I grabbed another jump ring because thank you, Jenny. She knows we like to be creative, and she thought, oh, you can make multiple ones, or if you don't do so well, you can modify and use extra pieces to get your first one to work. So I put the second jump ring on and I slid it right through the hole, and now I'm going to tighten and push those together. Try again. All right. There we go. That's what you want it to look like. Okay. So now I have my 2 pieces. They're still not attached. I'm going to take a third jump ring and slide it through. So instead of going with this one jump ring through both of my pieces, I had to modify and work on the fly because it's art, and sometimes things don't work out, and when you know better, you do better. So this is what I did. So now it would be like a cute dangle earring. Then I'm just gonna lay them down so they're face down, so the pretty part is on the bottom. I'm gonna open up my glue. Make sure you keep this out of the hands of your little people. It really works. I don't know why I just took that lid off. I'm having a brain cramp. It really works. They will really stick to everything. As you can see, my fingers are a little sticky. I got this glue on everything earlier. I'm gonna put a nice big dot of it on the back of my clay piece. And I'm gonna take my earring back and glue it on there and let it sit for a minute. Once it's totally dry, take those off. I can't see up close, and then I can see up close and I can't see a distance. Once it's totally dry, it'll look like this. Let me pop these out. So we get the full effect. Jenny's so sweet. She even gave us earring backs. She is amazing. Okay, yep. Sometimes I have trouble with those, so I was trying to make sure I could get it to stay on. See how cute? Jenny, oh my goodness. I might be like a whole polymer clay kind of person now. Okay, get this hair out of the way. Isn't that cute? I mean, really. Nice work, Jenny. I'm loving this. It's a super easy craft. It looks so difficult. It's really not at all. I was intimidated. Why was I intimidated? This is amazing. Jenny never fails to give us great ideas, things I honestly would never think of, and they're so all across the board. You won't believe what we're gonna do next. The next time we're back together, we're gonna make little loofah sponges for our very own spa day or spa moment every time you're in the shower. How cool is that? So I don't know about you, but I'm gonna get back to this clay, see what else I can create. Maybe a little pendant to go on a necklace, to go with my earrings, something. Thanks again, Jenny, and thanks again to all of our library patrons who tune in and craft and do makey stuff with us. Jenny and I love to keep our hands and our hearts and our minds busy, and we love doing these sorts of things. And without you, none of it would be possible. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and an even better tomorrow, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.